And then some people are able to really navigate these internal spaces. So I closed my eyes and I began, the first experience I had was the experience of being a pig running through the jungle being hunted. Like all I could hear was my heart beating and the like, and I just remember running as fast as I could through the jungle. And then my next experience was actually an experience of reliving one of the more traumatic experiences when I was a kid, when my mom got back from Iraq. So a little background: my mom was a medic, and my mom worked in the prisons in Iraq. And so essentially, what they would do is they would interrogate people, and then my mom's job was to patch them up so that they could be interrogated again at a later date. And being someone who went into the military for the sake of like helping people, right? Like it's one thing to be someone who's like trained and ready to go to combat, but I think being in a role where you're a caretaker and having to care for people who are being tortured is, I think it really added up. It was a lot for her psyche. So I relived this experience where I was a little kid. I was 10 years old. It was right after my mom had gotten released from the hospital. She was in at Walter Reed for like several months after she was medevaced out of Iraq. And when she finally got home, all she did was sleep. And one day I came home and I was excited to tell her about something. And she was on the couch, like asleep, covered in blankets. And I'm, Mom, 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 and trying to tell her something. And she goes, Can you stop talking? And I just started talking more and more and more. And she was like, Please stop talking. And I was like, I need you. I need you to listen. And I'm just yapping, dude, just trying to get her to pay attention to me. And finally, she screams at me and tells me to go away. And I told her, I'm like, I want my mom back. And I start yelling. And my mom grabbed me and she put me in like a rear naked and started choking me out. And I blacked out. And as I came to it, my dad was screaming at her, What are you doing? What are you doing? And she's crying on the floor saying, I just wanted him to stop talking. And I had watched that experience from the perspective of a fly on the wall. And I watched not just from my own perspective, my own trauma, but the trauma that my mom faced in the military, the trauma that my mom faced, and not just the trauma, but like, dude, I have kids now, right? I've got 5 kids. I know what it feels like to be overwhelmed and overstimulated. Now we add on top of that the fact that she just got, brain damage from, an IED and all of this like these medical problems related to her service. It gave me an immense amount of empathy for her. And it was one of those things, dude, I didn't even realize I was still holding on to that shit.